I believe that we do not want to recognize the level of poverty in this country, because if we did, it would be a national scandal.
There are two kinds of poor people: those who deserve our help and sympathy, and those who do not. Today we'll be talking about those who don't. Hello, this is Mr. Patriarch, and today we'll be looking at the concept of the undeserving poor. But before I do, please like, share, comment, and subscribe after this video. It'll really help me out and probably annoy your proper genteel Facebook friends if you plaster this all over their timelines. Now, let's get into it. So in the modern liberal Western countries, this notion of the undeserving poor, or the Old English idea of a sturdy beggar, is off limits in polite conversation, and totally off limits in more progressive environments. The concept goes something like this. There are those who are justly deserving of charity and assistance: widows, orphans, the infirmed or handicapped, and the person who has just lost their job and temporarily fallen on hard times, or perhaps they live in a very poor region. These could be thought of as the deserving poor. There's another category, though: those who are poor and or turn to begging as a result of their sinful, indolent, and dishonest living, despite the aid and usual forbearance of their family. They are poor as a result. These are the undeserving poor. Now, it is important to understand that in Christianity, since the beginning, charity and aid to the widows and orphans of the world, or the hungry in times of famine, has been held as a key virtue and a duty for all Christian people. As St. John Chrysostom said, "The rich exist for the sake of the poor exist for the salvation of the rich." Our Lord Jesus Christ himself said much on the godliness and sanctity of charity. In Matthew 25:40, Jesus said, "And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these brethren, ye have done it unto me." And now from the Old Testament book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 10. "Feed the hungry, and help those in trouble. Then your light will shine out from the darkness, and the darkness around you will be as bright as the noon." As the Lord provided for us in his grace and his mercy, so too should we assist those in need, as Christians respecting the humanity created in the image of God. However, some of the poor, and I reiterate, some of the poor deserve it. They deserve their material deprivation. It is either the material consequences of their actions or divine chastisement for sinful living. I come from a wealthy country. By global and historic standards, the United States is a land overflowing with total abundance. However, if I look at the poor people I knew there growing up, apart from the poor fellows who were laid off from their job, couldn't find work and were looking, or were unfit for work for whatever reason, they were usually justly deserving of their deprived circumstances. Most of these people were selfish, lazy, hedonistic, pathetic, and usually untrustworthy people who would sooner indulge in mind-altering substances than find work, even when work was available. They shunned healthy people and healthy relationships, seemed to routinely abuse the welfare system, were at times criminal, and often purposefully alienated their family. They weren't people victimized by society. They were wicked parasites and deserved to be poor. Now, in South Africa, there are many more genuinely poor people here through no fault of their own, for the simple fact that this is a developing economy, or currently de-developing, I should say. That, along with the absurd labor legislation and a corrupt government bent on pushing the national democratic revolution, has driven unemployment in South Africa astonishingly high. These are people who deserve opportunities. These are people who deserve a helping hand. They are truly the deserving poor. Nevertheless, you still find many genuinely bad people who are poor. Solidarity, a South African trade union, did a study of homelessness around Pretoria and Centurion in 2018 and found that between 80 and 90% of the people living on the street were drug addicts. Furthermore, begging accounted for a significant amount of their income, with beggars receiving as little as 150 Rand a day to as much as 3,000 Rand a day, depending on the day or the individual, with an average take of 1,236 Rand a day. This was a study done of 18 to 48-year-old beggars in 2017, with an earlier study of the group finding beggars were receiving on average of 300 to 500 Rand a day. The charity organization Helping Hand and associated welfare groups have warned of the dangers of giving money to beggars, as feeding the problem of beggary and leading to many associated ills, like a rise in crime, with about half of responding beggars to the study turning to theft and fraud to get money. I've also heard hair-raising stories from a social care worker of the degenerate lifestyle of certain car guards, who are informal semi-migrant labor in South Africa. They would routinely, apparently, have children while homeless, neglect them, and on more than one occasion, to hear this woman tell it, have children sexually exploited for the purposes of receiving money to fuel their drug habits. And then they would disappear and move to the next town before the children could be taken away from them. This is the behavior of a truly evil person. Apart from all that love and charity found in the Bible, the Apostle Paul also says in 2 Thessalonians 3:10, "For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat." And Psalm 34:21 states, "Evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate righteousness shall be desolate." The message is quite clear. Those who can take care of themselves, but don't, deserve not to eat, and those who love unrighteousness shall be apportioned desolation as their just deserts. Now that doesn't mean we shouldn't pray for these people, nor be there to greet the prodigal son when he returns home, or even do outreach in an attempt to get these people to turn their lives around. But they should not take priority over the deserving poor, for it is these who should be provided succor. It is our responsibility that we should, with discernment, separate the deserving poor from the undeserving, and the aid given to the latter is of a different kind, one forged by helping them turn away from those things that brought them to their degradation. For to give them money is to empower wickedness. Well, that's all for today, folks. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider sharing with someone who you think will enjoy this video as well. That's one of the best things you can do to help grow this channel. I've also started a new Twitter account, which can be found in the description or by clicking on your screen right about now. I'll catch you later, folks.